You think 1970s breakfasts were all boxed cereal and instant grits? Think again? These forgotten Appalachian morning meals were real-deal fuel, cheap, filling, and built to power folks through long, hard days. Number 1. Cathead Biscuits. Cathead Biscuits weren't dainty or polite. They were big, rough, and built to fill you up. Named because they were about the size of a grown cat's head, these biscuits were the backbone of Appalachian breakfasts in the early 70s. Cooks mixed flour, lard, buttermilk, and a pinch of baking powder by hand, stopping the second as it came together. Overworking the dough was a sin. Big chunks of dough got dropped straight onto a cast-iron skillet, greased with bacon drippings and baked hot. The bottoms came out crispy, the insides fluffy and layered. Split one open, and it soaked up gravy, butter, or sorghum like a sponge. These weren't trendy comfort food. They were pure working-class fuel. Number 2. Redeye Gravy Ham Biscuits. Redeye Gravy Ham Biscuits looked wild and tasted even wilder, in the best way. After frying thick slabs of salty country ham in a cast-iron skillet, cooks didn't waste a thing. They poured in strong black coffee to deglaze the pan, scraping up every browned, salty bit stuck to the bottom. The result was a thin, reddish-brown gravy with an oily shine that looked like a bloodshot eye staring back at you. That gravy got poured over split biscuits with extra ham on the side. The flavor was bold, salty, smoky, and slightly bitter from the coffee. Sounds strange, sure, but once you had it, you craved it. In the 70s, this breakfast could keep a man going half the day without thinking about food. Number 3. Hoe Cakes. Hoe Cakes were breakfasts stripped down to the bare essentials, and that was the whole point. Just cornmeal, water or buttermilk, salt, and sometimes an egg if times were good. The name came from cooking them on the flat blade of a hoe over an open fire, though by the 1970s, most folks used a cast-iron skillet instead. The trick was getting that skillet smoking hot with bacon grease before the batter hit it. That's how you got those crispy, lacy edges with a tender middle. They cooked fast, crackled when you bit into them, and tasted like pure corn. Farmhands ate them standing up, slathered with butter or a drizzle of sorghum, then headed straight to work. Cheap, filling, and tough enough to last till noon. Number 4. Chocolate Gravy and Biscuits. Chocolate gravy and biscuits sounded like dessert, but in the mountains it was straight-up breakfast. Cooks whisked flour, cocoa powder, sugar, and milk together in a cast-iron skillet until it turned into a smooth, pourable chocolate gravy. Nothing fancy, just basic cocoa and pantry staples. While it was still hot, they'd ladle it over split biscuits and let it soak in. The top stayed a little crisp, the bottom turned soft and pudding-like. Kids went crazy for it, and parents let it slide because biscuits made it filling enough to count as a real meal. In the early 70s, this showed up on cold mornings when families wanted something special without spending much. Sweet, simple, and way more serious than it sounded. Number 5. Fried Cornmeal Mush. Fried cornmeal mush was the ultimate comeback breakfast. The night before, cornmeal was cooked with water and salt into a thick, plain porridge, then poured into a pan to set overnight. Come morning, that solid block got sliced thick and dropped into a hot cast-iron skillet swimming in bacon grease. The outside fried up golden and crunchy, while the inside stayed soft and creamy. That contrast was everything. Some folks ate it savory with salt and pepper, or topped it with a fried egg, yolk breaking all over the crust. Others went sweet, pouring sorghum or apple butter on top. In the 1970s, this was pure mountain thrift. No waste, no nonsense. Yesterday's supper turned into today's breakfast, which could keep you full till noon. Number 6. Tomato Gravy on Biscuits. Tomato gravy on biscuits showed up when gardens were overflowing and money was tight. Cooks started with bacon drippings in a cast-iron skillet, stirred in a little flour to make a quick roux, then poured in home-canned tomatoes with all their juice. As it simmered, the gravy turned a pinkish red and thick enough to coat a spoon. Some folks added a pinch of sugar to mellow the bite. Others liked it sharp and tangy. Seasoned with just salt and black pepper, it got ladled heavily over hot biscuits. In the early 70s, this was a summer breakfast staple, cheap, filling, and comforting. Nothing fancy, just making the most of what the garden gave you and starting the day fed. Number 7. Hot water cornbread was the emergency breakfast. What you made when the pantry was nearly empty. Just cornmeal, boiling water, and salt. That hot water partially cooked the cornmeal before it ever hit the pan, giving it a texture you couldn't fake. Cooks stirred it into a thick paste, shaped small patties, and dropped them into a skillet with sizzling hot fat. If the grease wasn't hot enough, you messed it up. Done right, the outside blistered and turned shatteringly crisp, while the inside stayed moist and soft with pure corn flavor. In the early 70s, Appalachian coal towns showed this up when paychecks were late. Eaten hot, greasy, and fast, it was simple, addictive, and kept you moving. Number 8. Fried Bologna and egg sandwich. Fried Bologna and egg sandwiches were proof that cheap food could still hit hard. Country folks didn't eat Bologna cold. They sliced it thick, scored the edges, and dropped it into a hot cast iron skillet. The Bologna puffed up, the edges crisped, and all that salty fat rendered right into the pan. Eggs went straight into that grease, frying until the whites turned lacy and the yolks stayed runny. Then it all got stacked between 2 slices of soft white bread and smashed down so the yolks soaked through. In the early 70s, this was a go-to breakfast, greasy, filling, and perfect fuel before a long day's work. Number 9. Johnny Cakes. Johnny Cakes were a no-frills breakfast that had been holding it down for generations. Made with stone-ground cornmeal, water or milk, a little flour, and sometimes a touch of molasses, the batter was thick and sturdy. Spoonfuls hit a hot cast iron skillet and cooked up with a crisp golden crust, while the inside stayed soft and cornbread-like. Folks ate them with butter and honey, or alongside fried eggs and salty country ham. In the early 70s, farmhands loved Johnny Cakes because they filled you up without slowing you down. Simple, dependable, and built for hard mornings. Number 10. Cornbread and milk. Cornbread and milk weren't a recipe, it was a way of life. When money was tight and groceries were thin, this was breakfast, lunch, or supper. Folks took leftover cornbread from the night before, crumbled it into a bowl or glass, and poured in cold milk or buttermilk until it floated. Some added a spoon of sugar or a drizzle of honey, others kept it plain. As you ate, the texture changed, first crumbly, then soft, then almost porridge-like. In the early 70s, Appalachian coal towns, kids ate this before school while adults had biscuits. Cheap, filling, and comforting, it stuck with people long after they could afford better. These breakfasts weren't fancy, but they got folks through hard mornings and harder lives. If this took you back, hit subscribe and stick around, because old school food still knows how to do the job right.